So the number one request I've been getting lately is to update my tier list of the Wilder World and Zero ecosystem. So we'll quickly review what my tier list was before and then how I would change it today. Okay, let's go over this original tier list really quick. The winners in the S tier for sure ended up being the 3XLP and the land drop. Anyone holding a Trinity that got a free land, it's still trading at a high value. I think like 0.2 I think is where it's at. For getting a free drop, that's actually pretty incredible. I don't know of a lot of different projects that have free airdrops still trading at that kind of level. There's a lot of value in it and people know they're trading at that higher value. And then obviously the liquidity pool at 3x, anyone that was able to capture that value really benefited in that. We since have unwound that LP staking just because the team did announce that they're going to be changing the staking protocols and those values and benefits dropped dramatically. So we unwound it at a really good time and ended up using that WETH in order to purchase Wild at a really good entry point. So it really benefited us in the long term, especially since we're a Wild long-term believer when it comes to the Wild Pineapple DAO. So this really worked out in our benefit. And then in the A tier list, not a lot of these things have come out. I would say the winners here are the single-sided staking and the max chains, a lot of it because of land. We had a max chain, 2 max chains, and we ended up getting a legendary plot. There's not very many. I think there was 12 legendary plots. Maybe there was a little bit more. I can't remember. We got one of them. There were others that had multiple max chains that didn't end up getting one. So we count ourselves extremely lucky and blessed to be able to have it. And I think we have the second largest in size. So we're just really interested in seeing how that correlates with resources, what we're going to be able to do with it, all of that kind of stuff. Then in the B tier list, you have the wild cards, Wilder Wheels, and the Wilder Wheels Rarity. I think the biggest winner here is Wheels because they have their own racing game. They will end up having their upgraded Wheels look that are much more adapted to the Wilder World feel. And so I really do feel like the wheels industry has won out more than any of the other industries. And then in the C column, you have Wolves, Crafts, Max Chain, and Season 0. I think I really had a fail here. Max Chain should have been higher up because who knows out of which one of those Max Chains that we had, if it was the pure or not, that ended up getting the legendary plot. So just for the fact of having a max chain, it really benefited us, and the team really blessed holders of max chains quite a bit, especially once more of the resource protocol and the land protocol is kind of exposed and more tangible to the community. The more we'll realize the value in land, and especially these more rare lands that individuals got because of their max chains. Then you go down to the D, you have Cribs, Wapes, and Season 1 and 2. I think here I failed when it comes to Wapes, only because of the recent devlog. It looks like Wapes are going to be a character that you're able to play in game. TBA on the details of everything, but we did see new models of the Wapes and they're looking incredible. Very realistic, very Planet of the Apes, futuristic, Wilder World vibe-esque. So I'm really excited to kind of see if these are characters, if these will be just in like companions or what they'll end up being. But I think a lot of people would love to be able to play a Wape within Rebellion and have a good time with that character type. So really interested to kind of see how this pans out. All right, so let's get into the new tier list and where I would rank everything. I kind of changed the rankings from having like their typical, S tier and whatnot. I have must have, going places, personal preference, could be something, and wait and see. I feel like they're topics in Jeopardy, but they're not. They're my tier list because a lot of this will be personal preference too. This is just my opinion. This is kind of how I kind of place things within my mind. And so I'm just trying to be very open and honest with you on where I kind of put things. No particular order. I mean, there's some things we need to talk about before we get to other areas. So let's just go through the different industries. We'll just start with PALs and where I would end up putting PALs. PALs right now, maybe going places or could be something. Personal preference, I think it's unknown because it seems like mining rigs are going to be really important, but I still do believe that they're going to have something. I think there's just a little bit of confusion how much they're going to assist in mining and what other abilities they're going to have. I think there's a lot that can be done with PALs. It's just a matter of what the team decides is the best route to take when it comes to PALs. I think I'm going to put in could be going somewhere because could be going places. I was a huge advocate of PALs. I just starting to see how the team is starting to develop things, and it could be a little ways out for PALs. So we're just going to place it right here for now. As we kind of put things up, I think like sentiments change. So we're just going to kind of put that there. Let's talk about crafts. There's only 501. It's a matter of how many they end up building in the long term. Are they going to have very generic crafts that people can have? Ultimately, in the end, I would hope that they would make them much more rare than regular vehicles. I think crafts are really going to have their benefits. I don't think they're going to really focus in on crafts from the start. I think they're going to have kind of a luxury feel in the beginning until like time goes on and people can craft them or earn them, and it's going to be maybe more of a grind effect to get your own craft. I'm going to put it in the going places just because I see it really going somewhere. And I mean, I could put PALs there too. It's just really hard to like really put it when I personally have quite a sentiment towards different things. But I still find PALs to be very valuable. I just see crafts with their very limited supply and where the team's going to be focusing. I think they're going to be focusing on PALs first, but they're going to have crafts in world. We did see in the trailer the like heads-up display for crafts and stuff. And so how much they're built out is after this end of the year. Is that something that Eris is going to be working on? I'm not really sure. I'm going to just put it in the going places for now. Motos, I'm just going to put down here in the wait and see. I think wheels are really getting a lot of love. I think they will always get that kind of love. Will people really like motos and bikes? Sure. But with their supply and with the focus on wheels, it's kind of a wait and see holding pattern for me. We might as well just talk about wheels. I personally believe wheels is a must-have. They're doing upgrades. You have that partnership with Lamborghini. And I think it's just the industry that's really going to be built out. It's going to kind of set the bar for all the other industries already. Everything else is getting upgrades because Eris and his team are doing such an incredible job. And the teams in all of these different industries and areas, they are competitive with each other in really good ways. When they see how well someone else is doing, they get ideas and they kind of pat each other on the back, but they encourage each other to like go to that next level and to really improve. I think Wheels is really helping inspire and set a standard, and people are really excited. I think it's just going to kind of pave a way for all of these other industries. And then we'll go to Cribs. Cribs, I'm going to put in wait and see too. I'm going to put it ahead of Moto. I think Cribs is the biggest question because of land, right? Land has so much potential, but then you have these luxury cribs, and I don't think the team was expecting them to go for such a high value when they were selling for 12, 15, 20 ETH at times. I can't remember what the highest one was. I know one at least sold for 15 ETH. I don't think they were expecting them to go for that, but they have such a low supply, 102 maybe. But for me, it's a wait and see because there's so much value in the land protocol that Cribs is just a big question mark for me. I don't really know what it's going to end up being. I'm super grateful for what it provided when it came to a max chain. But as far as what the Cribs will actually end up being and how it will entice people to be able to spend that kind of value on it, because right now they're just selling for like 1.5 to ETH ish. They've dropped in value, and a lot of that's probably because of land, but they're still on average the highest selling asset within the ecosystem outside of some specific types of land. Land is obviously, it's up there. I mean, it's probably the best. We might as well just talk about land. Land is a must-have in the front. Between the resource economy, between its connection to Metropolis, between the ability to be able to craft on it. It's like the central point of value in the economy. So if avatars are the apex asset for like your identity and in the game, I think land is like the apex asset for the economy because it has such a huge part in that value. I put it up there. We might as well talk about avatars. Big question marks. I really do think it's going, oh man, it's like, again, it is so difficult to put some of these things in certain areas. I'm wondering if I'm ever going to put in personal preference. We'll end up seeing because of the way I ended up doing this. But avatars, because of their apex asset, because they're going to be such a front-facing part of your experience, you've got to put it going places. They release some of the updates. It keeps getting better, just like the wheels. Trinity just got this huge upgrade, which is this image that's here. It's really hard to see, but I really do think it's going places. We'll kind of have to see how much of a central point that these avatars really are when it comes to value and individuals. Right now, I'm going to just put going places just based on what I've kind of seen. Beasts, right now, I'm going to put could be something. I think they kind of had their value. A lot of it is in forming trinities. After land, they lost a lot, and now you have pals and everything that you can use to form trinities. I think from the beginning, if you're holding them, they were extremely, if you're wanting to go down, you know what? Personal preference. All right, I just thought of that. I'm going to put in the personal preference because this one, if you really want to get a phoenix at the end, if they ever continue this line of beasts, and the last one is, there's a I think it's like 333 phoenixes are going to get released or something like that. If it gets down to that, that's a very rare amount of phoenixes that you're going to be able to get. It's going to be one of the very few rideable mounts that you're going to be able to get on. I think they're going to be quite incredible. If that doesn't really matter to you, then Beast Collection is like, whatever. I'm going to use it for a Trinity, so I have access to a Trinity. And then Wildcard right now, I'm going to put it in the wait and see, and I'm going to put it in front of Moto. The reason why I say wait and see is because I don't know, like right now, I think Avatars is going to be the last Genesis collection. You know, they have the Armory, but I don't think they're going to release a Genesis collection with the Armory. There's going to be other industries. So I don't know what holding a Max Chain is going to give you and whatnot. So we're going to get into that. I mean, I'm going to put Max Chain down here as well. I'll put it in front of Wildcards. I just don't know what the team is going to end up providing as far as value when it comes to holding a Max Chain. They gave you a lot of value when it came to land. I just don't know what they're going to do when it comes to avatars. And then after that, what purpose will a Max Chain give you? Will it just be a multiplier? That's very possible. It could give you a multiplier when it comes to earning CATNIP and stuff that we're going to talk about later. It could be. It could be a multiplier. It could be something. You probably added benefits, but will you go completely out of your way to purchase a 2 ETH asset when it comes to cribs or another 2 ETH asset when it comes to kicks? I don't know. I'm going to put kicks ahead, and I'm going to actually put it ahead of all of these. All right, so we have kicks here, going places. The reason why I'm putting it here is because it's the only digital wear that we have, and we know that digital wear is going to be huge. I think digital wear is going to be more important than the avatar. Even though you need an avatar in order to display your digital wear, you know, people are going to give it a lot of value. I'm kind of putting this in the digital wear realm of all of it when it comes to Wilder World. Kicks are going to be really important to kind of display your own flavor of style and look. I think kicks are going to be important because you're going to be able to do different things in the open world. There's double staking with Season 0 kicks. Once that comes available, I think that's going to be really good. I think if avatars are going to be released, I think digital wearables are going to be even more important. You have Wiami.fun that they released when it comes to the community participating in the creation of in-game assets. I can see digital wear being that, right? Someone trying to release a really cool collection of digital wearables and someone getting behind it because they want to have that within World as an in-game asset, that's going to be something extremely valuable. And Wiami.fun is kind of going to pave the way if that's going to be something that's going to be successful. I'm going to put kicks here because I really do think it's going places, and I think it's really important to kind of understand that kicks are kind of, in my mind, digital wearables. And I think it's going to be huge in the space because skins, when it comes to weapons, vehicles, clothing, all of it, it's extremely important to people. All right, so the next thing we'll talk about is a Trinity. A Trinity is a must-have. I'm going to put it in front of wheels. Actually, no, I'm going to put it behind wheels. The reason I'm putting it behind wheels is because I think wheels just has a lot of attention, right? It's going to pave the way. People are going to want a wheels when they're in the world traveling around, and they want to customize it. You know, there's going to be a lot of reasons. Wheels are like that number one asset outside of an avatar being in world that people are probably going to want to have. And then a Trinity is if you want to participate in the, again, you're probably going to get a multiplier by holding a Trinity. It's going to kind of give you additional access to the economy, and you get further benefits by holding, 3 different assets. And it's a lot more approachable for people to have a Trinity than a max chain. There's going to be value there. I think the value of the Trinity is starting to wear down, but I still think if you're really interested in the full ecosystem of Wilder World, a Trinity is definitely a must-have. Okay, let's get into the other tokens and products that Wilder World and Zero has and where I would kind of place it within this tier list. We'll talk about Zero first. Zero is something that was released last year. You were able to message on it and you were able to earn MEOW. That MEOW has a certain value that you haven't been able to extract, but they've recently added the wallet and the staking ability. So now you can claim your MEOW, you can stake it, and then from staking it, you earn CATNIP. And CATNIP will give you access to TGEs and future tokens like the Z token, which is the protocol token that will come for Z chain, which is the layer 1 blockchain that Zero has. And so Zero has its own value. If you sign up for Zero Pro, then you get additional benefits. You're able to claim your rewards. You're able to participate in that Zero ecosystem. And so it's really important to have Zero Pro in order to benefit from Zero. So if you want to participate in the whole ecosystem of Wilder World and Zero, I really do believe it's important to at least test out Zero Pro and to kind of go through for a month or two of claiming your MEOW, staking it, kind of seeing what it is, joining some of the communities, being able to mint a domain and kind of test out what some of these token gated communities are like and just kind of get a feel for all of it. You can do all of that within a month and kind of see, do you think this app has potential? Do you think it's not? I personally think it's a must-have. I'm going to put it up here behind land. I think it is something that's really important because it's everything that Wilder World is built on. And it's going to be a protocol that more and more companies and brands are going to want to build on. And so they're going to start to capture value from other communities, other projects, other brands that want to build on top of Zero. And so the potential of Zero is a lot in the long run. This is, again, long-term. A long-term mindset. I think Zero will capture more value than Wilder World. But Wilder World will definitely be the proof of concept that Zero is possible. And they're actually building out a lot of the different tools and procedural concepts that are going to be needed in order to show that Zero is important. And so these sister companies are vital one for another in order to make the experience very enjoyable. So one, users want to use it, and then creators want to use it. And that's what I look forward to. I really look forward to that first project that wants to build something outside of these teams, the Wilder World and Zero teams, and utilize the tools available to them in order to do so. I put Zero here just before land, just because land hold, if we're talking about value, right now land holds the greatest keys to the kingdom when it comes to Wilder Worlds. So I think they're going to capture value first. I think right now I'm going to leave land ahead of Zero and put Zero just behind them. All right, so let's just go down the zero ecosystem when it comes to these different things. So let's talk about MEOW AVAX. Where do I think I put that through? Right now, the team has told us this is just a meme coin. It's for experimentation and testing things out, but it's not something they're going to leave behind. They're going to find ways that if it doesn't do as well, that they will find a way to basically keep them within the ecosystem in one way or another. Let's put MEOW AVAX. To be honest, I'm going to put it in personal preference. I'm going to put it here in personal preference because a lot of people may not want to participate in the AVAX kind of ecosystem. I think it was a really smart move by the team in order to capture liquidity, to bring attention from communities. I've met a lot of really great people that have come over to kind of mingle with the wilders from the AVAX community. It has been a value add to the ecosystem. I think it was something that was really smart for the team to experiment on, even though there's been some kind of news surrounding it and people that have been trying to kill it, individuals losing faith in it and exiting. I still believe that the team won't let it die, that the cat will stay meowing. And so I'm going to put it in a personal preference because you can capture some of the value in other areas. The potential of MEOW on AVAX going somewhere to like 10 or 20 million is very possible, especially if the market conditions are right. This is a meme coin that I really do think could move, especially if it stays strong within the community on AVAX. MEOW could be something that people might want to dive into first when the market conditions return. So let's go to MEOW on zero. I'm going to put it here, going places. As far as what it's going to provide is still kind of a question mark, just because now we have like 3 different MEOWs. One, I think we have a better idea of what it actually is because we see it in a different light. But MEOW Zero, and this is the one that you earn by utilizing the Zero app. You earn this MEOW, then you can stake it, then you can get CATNIP. You are gaining value because we know what CATNIP is going to provide. MEOW Zero, right now you can MEOW posts. It's like the form of exchange. There's a lot of transaction between different posts that you post on Zero. So the more you know about Zero and Zero Messenger and the feed and posting and groups, the more you realize how MEOW on Zero is a good benefit. There's utility to it right now. And so I'm going to put it here in the going places section. And then MEOW ETH, I think, is a must-have, mostly because we know that it's a one-for-one exchange for the Z protocol token. So we already know that we have that value when that comes out. And then on top of that, you're also going to get the MEOW on ETH, which all of these, right? All of these MEOWs are going to be interchangeable as far as the MEOW side of it, right? Because MEOW will always be a meme coin. It's going to be an experimental coin. They're going to be doing different things with it. We see that they're going to be releasing a AI gaming Game Boy, something that they kind of hinted to or kind of pre-announced for that hasn't been launched yet. I imagine you're going to probably be able to earn MEOW, but it's also going to cost MEOW. And there's probably going to be some type of interconnection between those types of things. I think until that's out, we don't really know the MEOW aspect of it. So there's a lot of like speculation. But on the other side, right, the MEOW Zero, you can MEOW posts and you can stake it and you can earn CATNIP. So there's already value there, especially if you like using the Zero app. MEOW on AVAX is definitely connecting with another community, and the team's not going to allow it to die because they have a lot of respect for the AVAX community and they have a lot of appreciation for the warm embrace that the regular AVAX communities, I won't talk about some of the cabal individuals there, but the MEOW individuals, the MEOW lovers and the AVAX lovers and the supporters of that space and that chain, they definitely have given a warm embrace to Wilder World and the team. And so they have a lot of faith with them. I hope that makes sense when it comes to the whole MEOW thing. It can be confusing. I understand. Even for myself as someone in, it can kind of feel confusing at times. I feel like I have a really good grasp on it now. And hopefully that kind of explanation has given value to you and better understanding where each one of these kind of lie. And then we're going to go into CATNIP. When it comes to the Z protocol token and being able to participate in the other TGEs, is that what it is? TCEs? The release of new tokens, CATNIP is going to be very vital, especially if Zero goes places and other people start to build on Zero. Having CATNIP is going to be great because you're going to be able to burn it and participate in those different airdrops and the different abilities to be able to connect with these new applications and new projects that look to build on it. And by having it, you may attract other individuals, especially as Zero grows and more people have CATNIP. That might be enticing for people to come and build on Zero because there's already an audience. There's already a community, just like on AVAX and Solana. They're already earning these things by participating in the ecosystem. And as it grows and builds, they're going to be able to participate even more. I really do think that CATNIP is a must-have. I know putting it up there, I'm going to explain why I put it up there and not down with Going Places, or why MEOW isn't up there, because you can earn CATNIP in other ways. And so we'll kind of get into that. So if we talk about wild staking, you are going to be able to participate in the ecosystem. By staking wild, you earn wild. By staking wild, you also earn CATNIP. And that's why I put CATNIP higher, because you can gain CATNIP in multiple ways. And so you don't have to be on Zero in order to earn CATNIP. And you don't have to be holding the MEOW token in order to earn CATNIP if you want to participate in the larger kind of ecosystem. And I think that the team is really going to reward wild holders a lot with the whole CATNIP. I think you're going to earn more CATNIP by holding wild. I believe that Zero staking, personally, I'm going to put it up here next to first, because you have Metropolis. Metropolis is basically you'll stake your wild. So by staking wild, you earn in a multitude of different ways. And that's why I've kind of put it where it's at. You're going to earn in the deflationary aspect, where 2.5% of the revenue earned through packs, they're going to end up burning, which then returns the value back to wild holders. You also are going to have all of the fees. There's a 2.5% fees in the buying, selling, and trading of assets on the marketplace. By doing so, they're going to burn 100% of those 2.5% fees, all returning back to wild holders in the form of deflating the supply of wild. And then only wild stakers are going to earn wild. So there's not going to be some other form of earning wild, like playing in game or anything like that. The only way you're going to earn quote unquote wild in game by grinding is going to be through packs. You're going to earn different digital assets. You then can sell those digital assets for wild, hence gaining wild. But it's not going to be this direct play to earn where you grind out a certain amount of time like they did with the early wheels racing and you earn wild. They learned that isn't necessarily a good format. And so they are testing out a new format that you will have to grind out. You'll be able to earn packs. Those different packs will have different assets, and then you can sell those assets on the market. And if they sell, you earn wild. All right. And then lastly, we have just the wild token. Based on everything I've been saying, I think you guys know I'm going to put it ahead of wild staking. And the reason why I put it here at the very front is because the team has been very clear in that they are putting wild at the center of the entire economy. And they're doing that through controlling inflation of digital assets by only having a certain number of resources that are attached to land. And any digital asset that is created, you're going to have these resources. You're going to have to pull from this resource pool in order to create them, thus controlling the inflation of digital assets being released into the world, as well as a burning mechanism to reduce the number of supply than everything being bought and sold and traded in wild. Even though people are going to be able to buy and sell wild at their leisure, it still is at the front facing utility and value of the entire ecosystem. And that's what the importance of Metropolis is, putting wild at the center of everything and using the in-game economy and system to help control inflation as well as create a form of deflation. We really do believe that wild is the #1 token and asset to hold right now. The value is really going to return back to wild holders, especially if you're thinking long term. I think if we do go into a really good bull market and we do end up having alt season, wild is definitely the one that's going to move more than anything. And then once all of these things start to move, value's then going to go trickle down into these other areas and these other assets, and they're going to end up rising. We're just going to have that trickle down effect from Bitcoin to Ethereum to, major altcoins to then all of these speculative altcoins. I think Wilder World, if they continue to build out the way that they're doing, all of their entire ecosystem that I've been talking about will have incredible value because they're going to be interchangeable. The team is going to be working together to make sure that their whole ecosystem is known, has value, they're not left behind. Yes, that includes MEOW on AVAX. It's not going to be left behind. They're going to capture value where they can, and they're going to benefit and keep that community strong because it's that community that holds the greatest amount of value outside of the token. If we looked at Cypher, which talked about the funding of all of the tools and protocols that will allow this ecosystem to thrive, they said that even 30% of the MEOW on AVAX supply will be locked away in Cypher. So that's an incredible trust in the team that they're not looking to just walk away from this kind of experimentation. They really do believe in the community behind it and they want to provide value. So they're going to keep working at what they can do with MEOW and AVAX. Well, I hope you found a lot of value out of this tier listing that I did. Again, I try to do it from a perspective of not shilling anything, but kind of talk about the product, talk about their value, talk about their place within the ecosystem and the reasoning behind why I kind of place them where I do. I hold every single one of these, full disclosure. I participate in the entire ecosystem of Wilder World. I think that's pretty well known. I do believe in each one of these. I believe that Wilder World is definitely going to be a top contender for top metaverse platform. I personally want to speculate on capturing all of that value because who knows where that value might get captured, if it's MEOW on AVAX, if it's on Zero, if it's in NFT assets, if it's in Wild, wherever it might be, I want to be able to capture that. And then I have CATNIP to capture future value from other projects that are going to be coming. And I'm super grateful for the team of providing these opportunities for all of us. And I'm really excited to kind of see where all of this goes. I would love to know where I went wrong in your mind or where I went right. Where do you think the greatest value capture might be? Where do you think that some of these would be placed if you were doing this list? I'd love to hear. Make sure you make in the comments below. And if you haven't done so far, make sure you like and subscribe and follow me on X. I would really appreciate it. I'll be bringing you my wild price prediction here shortly. And so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you turn your notifications on and I will be bringing that video to you here shortly.